All right, so when you've been named as trustee in somebody's trust, that means you're the person in charge of administering it. Basically, you're the one making sure all of the things happen that are supposed to happen. So, very simply, if you're named as trustee, right? So, say your parents set up a trust, and when they pass away, they want their home sold and the money distributed between you and your three siblings and some of the bank accounts that they have. They want those that money to be set up for you, and maybe they set aside some money to go to their church. Maybe they set some money to go to their grandkids. But they had all these things that they wanted to happen, and they've named you as the successor trustee of their trust, meaning, again, when they both pass away, now you step into their shoes and you got to make all this stuff happen. And most people don't really realize this, but you can be held personally liable for messing that job up, right? Now, usually where we see this happen is either somebody is just blatantly, very clearly stealing money or just not doing things that they're supposed to do, right? They're clearly not giving money to people who they're supposed to give money to. Maybe they've just stolen money. Maybe they're refusing to sell real estate, or just it's very obvious that their intentions are bad at the get-go, and maybe not so surprising that, yeah, they could be sued for breaching their fiduciary duty. That makes sense. But we also see sometimes where trustees, successor trustees, they're well-meaning, but they just are not moving at a speed that either the other beneficiaries think that they should be moving at. And that might be legitimate or not legitimate, or maybe they're not doing the things that they're supposed to be doing and they just don't know it, right? A lot of times, and I see this a lot with, other professionals, accountants, financial advisors. They think, oh, okay, well, I'm in this space. I've seen clients do this. I should be able to handle this. And they mess things up. They forget to do accountings. They don't provide accountings to the other beneficiaries. They commingle the assets. They put all money into their bank account to make distributions. And even if they're not stealing anything, they're doing some things they shouldn't do. So long story kind of short is, one, I think it pays to hire a professional if you've been named as a trustee, just to help you, to make sure that it's taken care of. Now, again, it could be, depending on the complexity, if there's one bank account and you're the only beneficiary, you probably don't need someone to tell you to go liquidate the bank account and give yourself the money. But once you have other beneficiaries, especially if there's money involved, people can get very upset. And so you just want to dot all your I's, cross all your T's, make sure you're doing everything properly. And I think it pays to hire a professional to help you do the trust administration because you can be held liable. But taking it a few steps back is, you want to know if someone has named you as trustee and whether or not you even want to take on that responsibility. Because most people, when they come to my office, they want to name their kids. And sometimes, well, usually they have one child who they know is really responsible, and then they have a second one who's maybe not as responsible, but they feel out of fairness they should name them both. And that's always a horrible idea, just for a variety of reasons. But I always tell them, look, they once you name them and they actually have to do this stuff, they're probably going to be upset that you named them as trustee, because it's not like people just really want to call bank accounts to liquidate them, hire real estate realtors and go through that process of selling real estate and prepare accountings and keep track of everything that you spent. It's a lot of work potentially. So if you're planning your trust, if you're planning kind of your succession and all of that, speak with those individuals and make sure they actually want to be the trustee. And know that if you have been named as trustee, you don't have to do it. You can always resign, or you don't have to accept that responsibility, because it is a big responsibility. So know that if you are currently serving as trustee, yes, you can be personally liable for mismanaging the trust administration. And if you know that you've been named as trustee, or you're thinking of naming someone, speak with those people and make sure that it's actually a responsibility that you want.